wire wrapping crystals, arrowheads for jewelry making. I've had a lot of requests for people wanting to know how to do that. This is black coated copper wire that I'm using, 20 gauge, and it depends. You can use 16 gauge, 18 gauge. Some of my customers love using, the 14 gauge and the real heavy stuff. The wiring you can get at any craft shop, Lowe's if you want pure copper wire. You can find in the electrical department. So it's not that hard to find the wiring for it. It's just getting the right gauge. I like to work with the lighter or the smaller gauges. The 20 gauge bends real easy, and it's just for what I'm doing here is probably one of the best things. I'm not going to get into any of the fancy loops and hoops and all of that on it, because I want to show you the basics of it, because that's basically what people have asked for. I've got my needle nose pliers, and first we're going to do the arrowhead on that. Arrowheads are the easiest to make. Now I'm going to take that. You really wouldn't have to use needle nose pliers for this. Sometimes I like to just use my hands, but at other times, when you are doing the fancier stuff, you do want needle nose pliers. Wire cutters like that. Now, needle nose will cut some of the wires. It's just harder to do. So what we're going to do is I've made my loop first. This is the loop that the chain or cord will go through. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of twisting on that. And there again, I probably should be using this, but it's just easier for me to use my fingers on a lot of it till it gets right to the end, because I don't want to poke myself with it. So we got that. Now what I'm going to do, I probably will not use any more than this. And since I don't want this whole roll with me, I'm going to cut it at the point where I'm guesstimating that I'm going to use. So use my wire cutters. And yes, this is black coated copper. Now, so you go up, you want that right about there, for where your loop's going to go through. So I'm going to bend it a little bit up so that I can twist this around. And you want it tight. The good part about arrowheads is they have a ridge, so it helps that to stay. See, that's going to stay. One of the easiest things to do. And you just keep wrapping. And I'm gonna wrap till it's gone on there. So I guesstimated about the right part. Get that a little tighter. And then I'm going to take my needle nose and bend that in. So there we go. Now that is all ready for a necklace. Just put it on a cord or a chain, and you've got your Jasper arrowhead. So not hard at all. You could get fancy, go down, and make a cross on there or X. All kinds of little things. You can get fancy with it if you want. But like I said, I'm not going to get fancy with these. I just want to show you the basics on how to do it. I haven't done it for a real long time, so this is like something that really doesn't go away. Maybe some of the little tricks might go away for me, and I'll pick up again later and think, oh yeah, I forgot I used to do that. But right now, this is how we're doing it. So now we're going to take the blue howlite. This is a smoother stone, a little bit harder to get a wrap on, but it's not impossible, and that's why I wanted to show you. So we're doing our loop, going around, We're probably going to use a lot more of the wire on this one because it's going to take a little bit more to get that right. You don't want any hard ends, you know, like prickly ends there. So you want to get that as flat as possible on your loop. Okay, so I'm guesstimating I will probably use about 1.5 feet just to get that right on the wire. I'm going to cut it right there. And like I say, you don't have to cut it. I just don't like this hanging around. I like it gone because it's just easier for me to work with. So this way is pointier at the bottom, though it is not a pointy crystal. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to go up to get the right part there, and I'm going to go around once or twice. I'll go around twice. And that's still slippery, you'll see, because you couldn't just get by with doing that. You would have to have more into it. So then you take it and you go around the side. Like I said, these are slippery, so they're not the easiest in the world to get wrapped. But it is possible to wrap them, you know, within just a little bit of time. Don't have to have that much time, but you want to get a good control over that part. And I'm sorry if my fingers are in the way, but that's just the way that it happens when you're trying to get a tight wrap on stuff. Because if it ain't a tight wrap, then it's going to mess the whole thing up. You just keep going, make that cage. Because that's basically what you're doing, making a cage for it. And then it's going to keep slipping out, and you're going to be cussing, but I don't cuss, so we're not going to do that. And then back again. Slippery, slippery. There we go. I'm going to try to talk whenever I'm saying this because I can get carried away with not saying anything. Okay, there we go on that. Now, I'm going to go around it. There we go. And I'm going to make this. Okay. I'm trying to let you see. There we go. Tuck that little piece in at the end. These are probably the hardest type to do, you know, just the tumbled. And I wanted to do that so that I could prove that any could be wrapped, any could be done. And there you go. So you got a wrap for that. And, you know, you can do your own style. There is no right, no wrong way to do. Just make sure it's in there. And that's in there enough to where it's going to stay. And you can put a cord or a chain on it. These are pretty easy on the rough crystals. This is a smoky quartz because you're going to find ridges in there. So there again, we're going to start with our loop. If I can get my wire right, there we go. Yeah, we'll start with the loop. I'll find a good spot for the loop. There you go. And I'm going to guesstimate probably about the same, well, no, probably a little bit less than what I did for the other, because this is going to have ridges, so it's not going to have to be wrapped as many times around. So I'm going to take for my loop and put it right on that part and have the pointier side down. And then I'm going to go up and I'm going to wrap around it this way. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the side and then just go. I'm not going to do a whole thing yet. I'm going to wrap it this way. See? Just wrap it like that. Just, you know, have your feel for your crystal. You will whenever you've got it in your hands. You just, you know, like I say, there's no right or wrong way to actually do it. Just do it, basically. And then I'm going to go up to the top and wrap around this again. That was, I went to the top to wrap around that part. And pinch it with your needle nose pliers. There we go. All right. And there we go. We have a smoky quartz wrapped on there, and that's basically how to do it. You know, it's not really hard. I think people just get scared whenever they look at it and say, how am I going to do this? You got some bendy wire, and you can just roll it up. You know, that's about all that you have to do. Now, that's it for today's show, but make sure you tune into the next show, which we are going to start a series of herbs. I'm going to be doing 3 herbs at a time. The next show is going to be agrimony, alfalfa, and allspice. So, bye for now.